Hello and welcome back to the SPT show. I hate to say this, but my performance is terrible in this game right now. Despite my best efforts with all the mods that I use over the past few nights, and especially this one where I put a lot of work into it, my frames are simply a lot worse than they have been even on my favorite map, this one right here, the Woods map. And I know the Woods map has been updated, it's larger now, it's got this underground area, and a lot of the things about the game have changed, just like I've said. There's everything about the base game that's been updated, and of course I've gone over all that, but I don't know, something has changed just in these past several days that brought my performance even lower, and it's really frustrating me, I'll be honest with you. I take pride in being able to get as many frames out of this game as possible with the mods that I use, and of course I'm not very willing to compromise on the number of mods that I use because, of course, they're oftentimes very critical to how I enjoy SPT, and I think that the overhauls are thoroughly necessary to make Escape from Tarkov a better game. But as you can see with the FPS counter at the top right of my screen right now, I'm below my typical targets. I like to have smooth gameplay wherever I can get it, and of course, it's a little, oh my god, worse than it would be if I weren't recording right now. Did you see that laser dot? Like it was tracking on me from, oh, that direction, and I just get hit by a grenade. Sane bots are extremely dangerous right now. What I did is I went through, like you probably saw before, I reset the defaults, so I'm using the default Sane difficulty preset with performance settings turned on. I think they're off by default, so I went in and flipped those on. Because, man, I need all the space I can get with these blasted frames. I'm all injured now, I'm all shot and grenaded up, I've been exploded a little bit, so fast. But I just want to take a romp through the Woods map, and maybe a couple other maps too, just to demonstrate that I too am really struggling with this right now. There are some users out there who have some really nice computers. They report very few problems, if any at all, with current version SPT 3.10.5. Hi, but I, however, am not having that kind of luck. Trust me, it's not going so well. Ah, there goes my stomach. Man, these guys are so violent towards the stomach. I get a black stomach so often with this difficulty preset. It's no joke, and the low frame rate really makes it difficult to carry a firefight from time to time, because no matter how fast I try to swing my mouse around or respond with the trigger when something else is happening in the game, it just takes a moment. It takes a beat too long to actually solve itself, and it just drives me completely insane. So let me just patch myself up real quick and we'll continue talking about this. Right, so, right off the bat, let's discuss More. So I'm using the latest test build of More, which the developer has been very open about the progress of, and I've very much appreciated the thorough communication about that. This apparently is the most stable test build that's been out just yet, and I've been using it just to see if I can squeeze a few more frames out of this game. And so far, I think it has helped a little bit over the previous version, but I just have to say it's not a high bar to pass. We're dealing with some pretty bad numbers here. And, oh boy, using the default Sane difficulty to sort of, you know, keep the benchmark where I need it to be for all this testing, because I obviously want the bots to be active. Whoa! I was like looking past him for some reason at that shape on the other side of that. Is that another guy? It is! That's why I was looking at that. Okay, hopefully he also died, but there's another shooter out in their direction. Yeah, so I want the bots to still be active, I want them to still be dangerous, and if I tune them down to be less active and less dangerous, I feel like I'm going to be losing out on critical statistics as I actually try to test through all these stupid mod configurations to get the FPS higher. So we're dealing with the danger as it is right now, but watch this, I can just reload my magazines really quickly and try to cope with that. I also have been keeping a close eye on dynamic maps to see the actual spawn numbers, because I was having a tough time managing the maximum bot counts in just the F12 menu for More. As you can see, let's see here, More right here. I was using this slider, the max bot cap right here, to manage the actual maximum number of bots in raid, but for whatever reason it was not taking proper effect, and I was still getting lots more bots than I actually set with that slider. So I went into the config file and basically just made all the recommended changes that are on Moore's mod page. Basically what's listed for potato PCs, which I'm terribly afraid that I might be approaching faster than ever right now, as clearly indicated by my performance here in the game. Of course, looking down to the ground, it's not really a big problem. You can see that my performance increases a lot when I'm just staring at regular ground, but I look back up and look out at the forest or something like that, and I dip right down to even 38. You see that right there? I sort of live in the 40s right now, which is not great for my gameplay. It can be very difficult to make snappy movements and reactions and stuff when frames are not cooperating, and I'm sure I don't need to tell you that. A lot of other players are living with this and much worse every single day, and I've seen commentary and replies on mods in the hub, and also just conversation on Discord and comments in my videos and whatnot from users who are moving away from SPT even, not just EFT but SPT, because the performance is so bad right now, and frankly it's impossible for me to blame them. It's extremely frustrating to have to deal with this. You know how much I love SPT and how much I love to customize the Escape from Tarkov experience to facilitate what I want out of a shooter in this genre. And to be struggling with performance this much is extremely disheartening, and it's a severe blow to my morale. But I need to communicate that effectively today, because a lot of my rhetoric about SPT up until this point has been extremely optimistic. But if you watch my Patreon, I recently made a post on there talking about how I am indeed dealing with this, and it's caused me to take a step away from the game recently to focus on other projects and to, you know, think about doing some other games and other projects for this YouTube channel in particular. And I've already started on those, and I've also made some content for my second YouTube channel. I'll leave a link for that in the description as well. I'm gonna have some problems as I approach the train station. As you can see, my medical effects are kicking in right now. I've got some side effects from the medicine that I used to save my life kicking in, giving me some tunnel vision. So yes, I share your struggles if you are indeed struggling with EFT or SPT or even both of them. I'm doing my best, and I will— oh man, I thought he was going to stop after looking at me right then and start firing, but he didn't, and so I sort of like tried to anticipate how he would move, because that's what happens when my frames are lower than I like and the game feels sluggish in actually tracking enemies. I feel like I have to anticipate bot movements even more so than usual, which exaggerates my aiming and really reminds me a lot of the old days of EFT for me when I was playing on a much older, much weaker PC. I was just playing the game at like 1366 by 768 resolution, just trying to play above 30 frames per second all the time, and really just struggling super hard like I used to do in even older games on even weaker hardware, to exaggerate that anticipation of movement so that hopefully my bullets, which move much faster than like my actual game can properly track, will hit my targets. And unfortunately for me, Escape from Tarkov has never stopped being a game that requires snappy reactions and fluid, you know, fluid frame rates when looking down sight and off into the long ranges and stuff like that, even medium range. At the moment, I have stopped altogether using optics in SPT 3.10.5 because, well, it's just so bad. The performance improvements mod includes now a dynamic texture adjustment. Where's performance improvements? There we go. As you can see down at the bottom, and there's a dynamic scope resolution setting right now, which is just like what was it called before? There was a mod, a standalone mod that did this, and for some reason its abbreviation is totally escaping me right now. But I tried to showcase it on my channel a long time ago in a very old video, and it just wasn't even working back then. But I did get it to work before then. And right now it does work with this mod, but I noticed that there's a black flash when I just, you know, like toggle the scope to actually look down the sight, as it adjusts those graphics outside the scope to make them lower than what's inside the scope. And is that guy alive? No. To increase the you know, the frame rate while looking down sight. But to have to do that And for it to sort of like have that, you know, secondary effect of like the black screen, the transition from high graphics to low graphics, you know, like when that happens, it's just sort of like even more of a blow to the morale. Because it just shows like all the like severe measures that are required just to get the game to perform while doing normal things, like looking down a sight or an optic or a scope or whatever to you know, sight on a bad guy who's downrange. So I'm just using these collimators and red dot sights and whatnot right now because obviously I don't have to deal with any sort of like change in resolution when I look down them. It's disadvantageous. I can't, you know, operate at as long a range as I would like to or need to in all circumstances, but what can I do at this point? Let's take another look at the dynamic maps mod. So, okay, there's nobody around me right now, but as you can see, none of the bots that are away from me, at a distance from me here on this map, are doing anything at all, and that's because performance improvements is limiting their activity as much as possible while they're at range from me. And even with all that happening, with those things that should be improving my performance as much as possible, I'm still running around here at 44, 43, 39 frames per second. And it's just abysmal, man. I'm so frustrated by it. It's really upsetting. I'd have to now cover a lot of ground in order to actually interact with these bots. Typically, I wouldn't have ever found that to be as much of a problem, but I did enjoy higher performance when this was working properly before. Now, I have less performance and less activity in Raid, which just feels like I have to now trek longer and harder to get to anything to do in the map, which is obviously a problem. That increases the amount of time that I have to spend in the raid, getting around to doing anything that requires me fighting bots for tasks, for looting, for experience, anything like that. Of course, not that anything like that is necessary in this current profile, but it is in others, and many other players are going to need that on a regular basis just to play the game normally. I have seen it asked if this is a bad time to get into SPT, and I would say that it just might be, unfortunately. I don't know if I can safely direct new players to start trying SPT right now in its current state, and I won't know that for sure until I try a fresh installation with very few mods. My severely reduced mod list that I used to use for like extreme testing to really try and get as many FPS as possible. And I will be doing that very soon, so keep an eye out for that video. It's just that right now I really want to demonstrate what I'm working with the configs that I have right now. All those that are listed in my current version mod list page. Because these are my favorite mods. These are the mods that I really like to use. These are some of the configurations that I really like to have. And I need to demonstrate that they are not working very well for me. It's really frustrating and annoying. Hopefully that'll turn around very soon, and I mean that all the more strongly because I just saw today that the SPT Realism Mod is in a testing phase for SPT 10.5, and you know that I am extremely excited about that, to be able to have Realism Mod back, but now I'm filled with trepidation because even if it were to come out tomorrow in a full public release, which of course it's not there yet, it's still testing, I probably wouldn't be able to enjoy it at a decent frame rate, which really sucks because I want my Realism Mod back. I want to be able to enjoy it in the current version of the game. Sure, I can play 3.9.8 whenever I want to, as long as I want to, but wow. Oh boy, there's another guy over there. There's another guy over there. There was like a delay on the crouch when I hit C there. It took longer. Oh god, I'm dead. I'm having delayed actions for my key presses that really just ruin everything, and I have not had to deal with that recently. Up until very recently, I should say. And if I sound really like sort of frazzled by this whole circumstance, it's because I am. I'm really disheartened by this, like I said before, and I keep saying that word and demoralized and stuff like that because it's true. What I'm actually going to do now is I'll load into the Interchange map because I'm super curious about how that's performing right now. I'm also going to grab my M4, which has the Tri-Hawk on it, and a canted, just red dot sight, because we need to demonstrate just how bad it performs. Hopefully not as badly as it was on the woods map for me earlier, but we'll just test it out there. And then I think after that I'll do the same thing on the Shoreline map, because it's looking really important to lay this all out. There's no need to make it seem like I'm fooling anybody about the performance that I'm getting right now, because we need to hope that things get a lot better. At least I do, until I can build a much better rig. And like I said, that will indeed be happening, but it's not happening right now. I happen to be very busy in my regular life. My job is giving me more hours, and we're getting into the spring, which means a busier time in general for me. My workload has been increased a little bit, so I was hoping to make effective use of my time that I have off shift and on the weekends and stuff to get SPT up to snuff and doing all the things that I wanted to be able to do, but I've really been struggling with that. Man, I hope it gets better. You know, we're keeping my eye out. Of course, we in the Club StarVox Discord server are always talking about this sort of thing, and I really enjoy being able to talk to everyone who's sort of like having a great time in the game. You know, I feel sometimes like I've gone back to enjoying the game vicariously through them and their experiences, and even the clips that they post, because I can see that they're getting significantly better performance than me, and I'm really glad for them. They have like super good PCs, and of course I've just been lagging. I should have built a better PC last year, but I never got around to it. We'll just see how things shake out. But in general, I find myself still really disappointed that the demand is so high still. You know, like the games are not okay, not games in general. Escape from Tarkov itself, right, is not becoming more optimized over time. It's not making more effective use of our hardware, of my hardware, to be able to run the game better and, you know, do what we needed to do, what I needed to do to run at a decent frame rate all the time. Now we'll see how Interchange does, and I'm not going to sprint directly into the mall just yet. I'll stay on the highway for a moment while spawns pop up, and I'll take a look at the map here. I see one. We've got a new, let's see here, there's like a cascading spawn system, and also the soft spawn frequency option, which is a new thing in more, which sort of pads out the spawns in a way that prevents group spawning from destroying frames and like making excessive use of PC resources right away. Oh wow, I would say that things are looking a lot better so far here. Oh man. Is it really just gonna be the woods map? Ugh. Hey, I hate that, because you know I love the woods map. Oh no. Well, it's good, you know, that this is running well. That's encouraging, and I like that. The Tri-Hawk, how's that doing? That brings me down to 60, and then back up to 80. Oh, it's so much better here. If I had this at the woods in the last raid, you would have seen exactly what I was talking about. My frame rate plummeted down to 30 and 25 and stuff like that when I was using the Tri-Hawk, and that sucked. I was trying to test out. Oh, there's like a guy over there. Did you see that? He's running around. If I do this really quickly, check this out. Dynamic scope resolution. So that's enabled right now. If I disable this, how's my frames looking? Okay, so it does actually go down without that install, or without that running. I'll enable the dynamic scope resolution again, and interesting. Performance in general on this map is so much better that I'm not getting the black flash that was accompanied with looking down scope with that setting turned on. Oh, interesting. I learned a thing just now. Wow, I had spent so much time testing on maps, or testing on woods, that I didn't realize it wouldn't be doing that here on Interchange, and who knows, you know, Shoreline I feel like Shoreline is still much more intensive as a map, and that may come back. My performance problems may come back, but so far, I mean, even 50, you know, like even 56, 57 is still much better than what I was dealing with on the woods map. So that's really encouraging. And it's not so bad, you know, like you might worry that the resolution change for this option with the scopes in the performance improvements mod is so severe that like it's distracting to see the game outside the scope go into a lower resolution, but I would say it's not so bad. I can obviously tell that that's happening, but it's not a major distraction, and I'm sort of just in like contingency mode as it is. So like any improvement I will take. And it feels bad. It feels bad to be in that place. But you know, what can I do? Gotta do something. I think he moved. Yeah, he did. I think he's still up. But obviously, in this way, you know, firefights will be better. My own ability to maneuver will be better. Could see how quickly I was able to aim down sight, as opposed to in the last raid. There's no guarantee that I'll survive any more strongly because, like I said, I deliberately have sane without the like center mass protections and stuff like that, without delays on the bot's ability to perceive me and to like actually aim on target, so that we can get an accurate read on what the performance is like at these settings with my configurations, and of course also with mod running. Oh, that recoil. There we go. Okay. Performance, much better. That's good. That's very good. I can't believe that Interchange is going to behave better than Woods for me. No! If you remember, if you go back and watch my 398 videos on the Woods map, I would always be so, like, happy because performance was so good there. I was, like, always surprised because I'm like, wow, look at my high, you know, frame count here on the Woods map, which is so surprising because, you know, it's a rather large map and there can be a lot of bots roaming around all over it in its different sectors and whatnot. But I was still getting good performance and I just really enjoyed that. So I suppose I'm just gonna have to avoid it for now. I hate to feel about Woods anything like I do about Streets. It's just the worst. Because you know how I feel about Streets. But dang it, I just can't lie to myself. We must be honest about the performance in SPT. It is certainly my duty to y'all to be transparent about what it is that I'm experiencing here. Can I please get out of here? Can I not be stuck in this right now? Thank you. Just jump over it. Just jump over it. This magazine is full. I've entered the mall. I'm sitting here at 66 and 68 frames per second, which is certainly acceptable for me. I'm okay with that. Yes, I would love to have over 100 FPS, but that is simply not realistic for me. I haven't expected that for quite some time. In the near future, this summer when I put my new PC together, we will see. But frankly, as we have all seen, high-end hardware can still struggle with EFT and SPT, and that really blows. Like, that really, really hurts my feelings, and I'm sure it hurts the feelings of people who've already invested money and time and trouble into better PCs, you know? Because who wouldn't have the expectation to get better performance in a video game that doesn't do, like, extreme things, like, you know, provide crazy, like, you know, I don't know, interplanetary gameplay or like 3D VR projections or anything like that. Sure, there's like SPT VR, but there's no hope for VR and EFT. There's no reason to have the expectation that you're going to use VR and escape from Tarkov normally. There shouldn't be any more increased, you know, like increased demand on the hardware as time goes on with these video games. Like we all expect optimization to improve, you know, for games to make better use of hardware or to reduce their own demands so that they're not using as much, so that they don't need as much, that especially in a competitive PvP game, which is exactly what it is by default, no matter how much I try to avoid it and, you know, make it something else so that I can just enjoy it here on my own. Ugh! Yeah, hold that thought. Let's hold that thought for just a second. Reload. Reload. I hear the footsteps. He's coming up. Oh boy. Yeah. Fortunately, I had a pretty decent frame count when he tried to do that. I saw his barrel emerge from around the wall, and then I even saw him turn and prepare to corner peek me. It's a good thing I was already looking in that direction and I heard him moving so that I could anticipate what he was about to do, because wow, if I had had a low frame rate, that would have been much more difficult to deal with. He, just as a regular computer entity, would have had a much easier time coming around the wall just like this and blasting me. It's not like he has to handle a keyboard and a mouse or anything. It's not like his frames dip in a way that, you know, like, are such a detriment to his gameplay as it would be to mine. It's just a fascinating concept, you know, like, I totally get that game development is a very intricate, very difficult thing. Like, there's so many aspects of the mechanics of the engine that go on. And Escape from Tarkov is no slouch of a shooter. It's a wildly impressive shooter. We all appreciate how robust it is. We all appreciate the fidelity of the graphics and the animations, the gunplay, the way that the guns work, the way the ammunition happens, that, you know, just like all of these things. But oh God, it's just so poorly optimized in ways that drive me insane. Yes, I see you over there. Can I just do this? Can I just come around? Oh boy! It's okay. It's okay, I got him. No need to panic. Okay. Well, you know what? That really answers a big question for me. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get to Interchange and my performance will be so bad. But look, it's not so bad. Let me check the map real quick. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bots. And I think the maximum, so those sound effect things are still happening, I see. The maximum that I have set in the config is 15, but I've reduced the per zone spawning so that fewer bots can spawn together in the same spot. And also the like the spawn management, like the frequency of the spawning is now... Thought I heard something. Is now managed in such a way that there's more space between spawns, basically, in terms of time. So they don't spawn as frequently, they don't spawn as close together in such great numbers, which of course in general is good for performance. As with most of these configurations, it can make the game less exciting, especially if you're wanting lots of action, if you want activity right away at the beginning of a raid, if you're looking for higher numbers of PMCs than scavs. And also if you're wanting to encounter groups of PMCs, and even scavs of course, but like groups of PMCs tend to require more performance because their loadouts are more robust and they've got more complex, you know, AI and all that stuff. But this amount of action right now is fine for me. That's cool. This will give me time to navigate the mall and, you know, loot stuff in the environment. Chase activity, sneak around, do stuff like that, especially if this were a night raid. That'd be okay. Oh, wow, what a relief. I was actually able to showcase something good when I thought that this entire video would be bad. So... Oh, there's a guy right up there. Hang on a second, though. Let me run over here. He has no idea that I'm not Ivan. Doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, I see now out there. Okay, so the spawn numbers, the spawn density, pretty good. And I see that my frames are handling it pretty well. Ah! He broke my bone, and he blacked my body parts because I wasn't actually managing my spacing. Listen, man, I'm trying to figure out how everything is working in this raid right now. Thanks very much for your contribution to the action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, okay. So this actually, the control on the bot spawn numbers, pretty good. I'm super happy with that as it is right now. I'm sure that's a reflection of the current test version of more that we're working with. So let's bust out of here. I'm going to end this raid and I'm going to jump into the Shoreline map and we're going to see how performance is there. I'm super curious to see how this is going to work out. Okay, here we are on the Shoreline map. Let's take a look around really quickly. Of course, I always expect performance to be just fine at the outset, but let's have some of these bots spawn in and give them an opportunity to ruin my experience. Let's see here. Shoreline is a very large map, super wide. I would agree that it's necessary to have a pretty healthy number of spawns active on the map in order to make it viable for interesting gameplay. Unless you're playing at night, then I think that a smaller amount of spawns is a good idea. That just makes it more immersive for me anyway. But seeing how the zones are so far apart and it takes a while to walk between each of them, it's good to have bots in each of the ones that you're going to pass through, at least in a good amount of them, so that you're not just bored, or that I'm not just bored the entire time that I'm moving through. So I can see here, fortunately for me, this time around a bunch of the spawns were nearby. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in total on the map right now. If I run up here and kind of get into the mix of the action, that may change, and of course they're going to start fighting each other as well. I see that my frames are falling. God, that sun through the trees just looks really bad for some reason, doesn't it? Does it remain looking so bad if I increase the clouds, make it a little darker? I suppose it's just the way that the trees are actually handling the sunlight passing through them. But I don't like the way that it looks. This is the early spring season, I'm pretty sure. Which is what I've configured to be using. I heard footsteps. Of course there's fighting right here. The activity is hurting my frames. Should be about 4 or 5 bots nearby, or at least there were. They probably killed each other. So there might be fewer, but... there's a bullet hole. If I just die instantly to a black screen, you'll know why. I'm moving aggressively and not very smartly, trying to find the action. We gotta provoke these bots. Oh, I see. 2 dead. There's activity in the house. There he is. Ow! Got him. Still hear some more activity though. Or do I? Oh, look at that. There's a lot of fighting here. Check my corners before I reload at 50 frames per second. I heard the voices just now. Don't hear any other activity right up close to me though. So that's whoop, never mind. Is that in the house? Is he in here? Is he like up here? If I check very carefully, will I die? Is he upstairs? No, that's definitely outside. Should make my way to a window, huh? Just making sure though, just making sure. Yes, I hear them. Directly below. Whoa! And also at a distance with a high-powered rifle. Okay, so not horrible so far. I was able to defend myself. I assaulted the house without dying. But you know how it is. Can you hear that? He's out there, he's rustling around. Woohoo! Now that shooter's firing on the guys, yeah, who are entering the house or around the house. Shooters in that direction. Thought maybe he'd try to come up the steps. He was stopped. Let's hop down here and take a look, right? So, The real test, I think, of this map will be at the resort. Because that's where I think the most draw on resources tends to take place in general. Of course, they will depend on how many spawns there are in the area. What's the distribution like right now? There's only one there at the resort. Yeah, I see these guys bunched up around me. There's one at the resort, just one on the bunker to the north, and that's probably the scav sniper who's up on the actual rock over there. I see that sniper on the power station, and there's no one else. Oh, Scav Island. Okay. Grenade, I think. Was that a stun grenade? Dude, the language, man. Oh wow, that was that was pretty scary. Good thing the M4 is super snappy in this configuration, right? If he tosses a grenade in right now, I'm dead. Has he got backup? Who's watching his sectors? Anybody? Nope. Just toss a lot of lead over there. Reload. Step out. None to the right. No one shot me from the left. Jump over here. I can hear him healing. Big mistake. Cool. It was kind of choppy. The frame rate was not perfect for that engagement, but I mean, it could have been worse. Look at you. You had the M700. I bet that's who I heard firing. Was that a sound that I heard in this direction? Or am I just tripping? No, there's definitely not. There's two guys behind me. I now see two spawns to the west of the resort. Nothing else has really changed. There's still those two guys on Scav Island. Okay. So, in general, better than I thought. Let's try the Trihawk. Ah, you see that? You see that black flash? That's what I was getting on the woods map. And I think that really just reflects... Whoa! Super delayed there. Each time I, like, swung the mouse and each time I pulled the trigger just once, I did, like, automatic firing, which was super strange. That typically doesn't happen. Oh, I can just actually move through this doorway here. But that being the case, I'll go back onto full auto. I did see that there's a mod that prevents the overcorrection when coming up on a wall leaning to the left, which I am really looking forward to trying because it's super annoying to be doing this right here at a lean and then I get too close and it totally breaks my aiming. I have to step away and then redo that entire animation. It just takes longer. Like, obviously this operator should be able to just stick his rifle out in a much more prepared way, which will enable my success, but he does not. For whatever reason, I suppose BSG wants to install those limitations for PvP players. But yeah, that's fascinating to me. When let's go down the Trihawk again. Black flash to adjust those graphics. The resolution outside the scope is decreased. But even with that in effect, I'm still sitting here at 32 frames per second looking down this scope. And then it goes back up to 43, 44. Wow, that's just so severe, you know what I mean? You see what I was saying earlier when I just didn't feel like playing with it? Because it just sucks. It sucks that that has to happen. And it's really brutal to have to make severe compromises when it's like, oh, well, I obviously need to look down sight in a shooter game, especially a tactical one that requires competitive play. That's where I am. That's where I am with this right now. Yeah. Oh, he got me. He got me again. There's my stomach. Gotcha. Let's see here. Use that. Reload the rifle. Oh yeah, of course, my magazines are all empty and I hear the airdrop coming in. Hit R to reload that. We're looking at my blacked out stomach right there, which is why I'm coughing. Oh, I hear the activity. Some dude just kicked open a door. Oh, there he is. Whoa, he just like, what? Okay, did he like spook himself and run off? Is that what happened? Let's see here. 6. Hit me with the magical healing juice. Okay. Guess he'll just, keep his distance. He like ran in, bodily, ran directly into me, and then ran away. Bots still do weird things sometimes. But you know what? Players do too. Not all the time, but sometimes. Holy smokes. It's a good thing my hits were destroying his ability to aim me, because wow. It's kind of spooky and a little silly to see him just poking his face around there with the mask and the sunglasses and the booty hat on. Okay. Health is back up. Reloading my weapon. Yes, indeed. How are we looking here? Okay, still got those 2 spawns up to my northeast. West of the resort, still got the guy on the bunker rock, still got the guy at the power station. Obviously no one's going to do anything about them. Looks like there's only 1 guy down at the Scav Island now. And I see 2, oh, just 1 spawned, 1 more spawn, so that's 3 down there by the gas station on the coast. So these spawns seem to be pretty well managed. I actually think that might be 2 up there by the bunker. That looks like 2 borders around the arrows that I'm seeing there. So, okay, I would say that, performance is similarly bad, sort of in general here, as it is on the woods map for me right now. Which, not a huge surprise, I was enjoying better performance in 3.9.8. And I was really hoping that would carry over. Oh gosh, I'm exhausted now because of all the things that's been happening to me. I'll just skip over any other medicine usage for now and actually eat and drink something. Let's just check on the resort really quickly. As I, approach big stutters. 43 FPS, 44. I died. Okay. To cap this one off, let's just go to the streets map. Let's see how it goes. I know it's going to be real bad, but let's take a look at just how bad. Okay, here we are on my favorite Escape from Tarkov map. The streets of Tarkov. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So, right off the bat, 60 frames per second. Pretty good, pretty good. So that's nice. This map is so large that I'm sure the AI limitations are going to be like very generous, and most of the bots that spawn are going to already be so far away from me that they'll be, you know, like disabled just by default. So there just won't be very much activity in general, which I'm, you know, I would hope anyway, would boost my performance. If I look down the Tri-Hawk, what happens? Do I get the flash? I do. And it looks bad. You can see it really highlights the aliasing on like the power lines and stuff when it does that. Oh man, it just feels so bad. So, you can hear that the BTR is directly beneath me. It's parked right there for right now. Okay, I'm down in the 40s and sort of the 50s. It's not so bad, it's not unplayable exactly. There's no one here to fight. But, that's how it is. Let's take a look at the map. And sure enough, I'm pretty much alone except for that shooter who's up there somewhere, I'm pretty sure, unless he's like actually down on the lower level and inside that building maybe. I can't remember just how far it goes in there. But I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bots currently spawned onto the map. Most of them are indeed farther away from me. So let's just, let's see here, swap through the layers. Oh, another one just spawned there next to me, but they seem pretty decently padded out. So let's just zip over and find some of the activity. Let me put myself in a place where I can actually do a little bit of fighting, right? And actually get a good read on what the performance will be like. So, I'll start down the block from these guys, and then run in. Oh man, they look so bad. Let's just swap over to that for now. There's a little bit of fighting. I noticed that that didn't really take much of a hit on my performance though, so that's good. Just general gunfire isn't absolutely waylaying my performance. Don't like that. Okay, still around 50. Gotta say, better than I was expecting. Oh god! He was, however, right there. And that did some damage to me. Fortunately, it looks like I'll have the ammo to deal with all this, or at least for the moment. He just tossed a grenade. At least I thought. You gonna come around, pal? Nope. Not in that direction, anyway. Sheesh, man. You wanna control yourself? How am I supposed to fight effectively for doing— Oh, there it goes! There's that drop in performance when a thing happens that I was expecting. In general, still smoother than I was expecting overall. However, it's gonna be real hard to hold my arm steady with that severe damage that I just took. It's never any fun, is it? Hey-ya! Did he run out and eat my grenade? No, he didn't. Oh! I'm out. It's a problem for me. Ah! Oh, man. You know what? That's enough for now. I've been recording for a while. I was able to make my point. So, I share your frustrations. If you're dealing with performance problems in SPT, I also am dealing with real big problems with SPT performance, and it's making me want to play a lot less. I have not been playing 3.10.5 as much. I've been trying to keep up with the mods as much as possible. I've been installing the updates, I've been reading the change notes and stuff like that. I've got my, I on Discord and all that, everything. But it is what it is for right now. Keep an eye out for my next couple of videos because I'm going to try some more things to improve performance. Hopefully get things to a much better place. We're going to change my mod usage around, use a few different configurations, and I'm going to follow up with some of the people in my community to see what they're doing, and maybe I can get some new advice that will help me even further. Leave me a comment, tell me what you're doing, tell me what you're thinking, how you're feeling about SPT right now, and I promise I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.